It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your phone says you should be asleep. Your brain says otherwise. You assume something is wrong with you. But for most of human history, this exact moment was completely normal. Tonight, when you finally give up and close your laptop, you'll expect one long, unbroken block of sleep. 8 hours. Lights out, lights on. That's the goal, right? That's what healthy sleep is supposed to look like. But your ancestors didn't sleep that way. Not even close. For thousands of years, humans slept in two separate chunks. A first sleep, then a waking period in the middle of the night, then a second sleep. And the strange part, that middle of the night waking wasn't a disorder. It was the plan. Historian Roger Kirch spent over a decade digging through diaries, court records, and medical texts from before the Industrial Revolution. He found hundreds of references to first sleep and second sleep. People used the hours between them to pray, talk with a spouse, tend the fire, or just lie quietly in the dark. Nobody panicked. Nobody reached for a sleeping pill. It was simply what nighttime looked like. So what changed? Light changed. Before artificial lighting, night was long and dark, sometimes 14 hours in winter. The body split that darkness into two sleep phases with a quiet gap in between. Then gas lamps arrived, then electric bulbs. Night got shorter, the gap disappeared, and an entire pattern of human rest, one that had lasted since before recorded history, vanished in about a century. Here's where it gets stranger. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr ran an experiment where volunteers spent 14 hours a day in darkness, with no clocks, no artificial light, nothing to do but wait for sleep. Within weeks, their sleep split in two. First sleep, a quiet waking period of calm, almost meditative alertness. Then second sleep. Wehr hadn't invented anything. He'd simply removed modern light and let an ancient pattern resurface. Think about that. Given enough darkness, your body doesn't malfunction into fragmented sleep. It returns to a rhythm that may be its default setting. The 8-hour block you've been chasing your whole life might not be the natural state. It might be the invention. But it goes back even further than pre-industrial Europe. If two-phase sleep was normal before electricity, what did sleep look like before agriculture? Before villages? Before candles? Before roofs? Neuroscientist Jerome Siegel wanted to know. In 2015, his team studied 3 modern hunter-gatherer societies, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tsimane of Bolivia, groups living without electricity, without clocks, without screens. If any humans still slept the ancient way, it would be them. The results surprised almost everyone. These groups didn't sleep in two neat halves like Kirch's Europeans. They slept in a single block, but a short one, often under 7 hours. They didn't go to bed at sunset. Many stayed active for hours after dark, sitting by the fire, and they almost never napped. Temperature, not light, seemed to drive when they slept. Bodies cooled as the night went on, and that cooling tracked closely with when people drifted off. So which is it? 2 sleeps or 1? The honest answer is both, depending on the era, the light, the temperature, the tools available. Sleep was never one fixed ancient template. It was a flexible response to environment. And that flexibility is the actual inheritance you carry today, not a rigid 8-hour rule. Here's the part that should feel personal. Waking at 3 a.m., lying there for 20 or 30 minutes, feeling oddly clear-headed before drifting back off, that isn't necessarily insomnia. For much of history, it was simply what a full night looked like. Your ancestors called it the watch. You call it the thing that's wrong with my sleep. Same experience, completely different meaning. Why does this matter now? Because millions of people take that midnight waking as proof that something needs fixing. They reach for melatonin. They Google, "Why can't I stay asleep?" They stare at glowing numbers on a nightstand clock, watching minutes tick by, and the anxiety of not sleeping keeps them from sleeping. The waking itself was never the enemy. The panic about the waking is what turns a normal biological rhythm into a nightly crisis. Consider what's changed in your environment compared to a Hadza campsite or a candlelit farmhouse in 1600. You have a phone glowing next to your pillow. You have a house held at a constant 68 degrees year-round, with none of the natural cooling that once cued the body toward rest. You have blackout curtains that erase the slow graying of dawn your ancestors used as a signal to wake gently, instead of jolting up to an alarm. Every one of those modern comforts quietly overrides a cue your body evolved to use. There's a reframe hiding inside all of this. Ancient humans weren't sleeping worse than you. They were sleeping in conversation with their environment. Light, temperature, the rhythm of a household waking one member at a time to keep watch through the night. Modern life removed the conversation and left only the demand. Fall asleep, stay asleep, all at once, on command, regardless of light or temperature, or how the day went. So the next time you wake at 3 a.m., here's a different way to hold it. You are not broken. You're not behind on some biological deadline. You may simply be doing something your body has done for most of its existence, waking briefly in the dark, before returning to rest a second time. The people in Ekirch's records would recognize it instantly. The volunteers in Vere's dark room found their way back to it in a matter of weeks. It's not new. It's remembered. None of this means insomnia isn't real, or that chronic sleep problems don't deserve attention. They do. But there's a difference between a genuine disorder and a single normal wakeful gap that modern culture has quietly redefined as failure. Knowing the difference might be the first real step toward a calmer night. Tonight, when you wake up in the dark and your mind starts replaying the day, try not to reach immediately for your phone. Try not to calculate how many hours are left. Just lie there for a moment the way people once did for thousands of years, awake in the dark, unbothered, waiting for sleep to come back around a second time. It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. And for the first time, maybe that doesn't feel like something is wrong with you at all.